All right, so in my contour line section area, what I'm doing is I'm choosing to do it in pen so you guys can see. What's really important to understand about this area is that you're looking for every value change, every shape creates its own contour line. And so you're really having to come in here and pay attention to every detail, every change of a color. So I'm using both my black and white piece of paper for this, and I'm using my color so that I can kind of see the different values and where they are. So just in this toe on the boot alone, it has all of these separate color changes that are creating these really kind of crazy irregular shapes. And so this is where that organic shape knowledge really comes in handy, because we've got to play around and create all of every value, every change of color, anything that you're seeing within that section. That's what you're putting down. And so this section is going to be filled with lines. And this is important so that way, as you guys move through the art program and we start doing color pencils, we start doing portraitures, we start working with finite grids that have half-inch or even quarter-inch grid squares, you can really start to narrow down your color choices. It does make projects easier in the end. It does create a lot of work up front, but then you speed through the project because you really have a great understanding and plan of what you're doing. So you can just see in this boot alone, look at all those different crazy shapes that I'm finding and having to outline. So again, you don't necessarily have to use pen on this section. I'm just going to go ahead and use it just because it does make y'all's life easier to see what it is I'm talking about. And so here I'm moving into the skull, and I'm following every shape, every color change, every shadow, all those different kinds of objects. So this becomes a very highly detailed drawing is what you're looking for at this point. Now, for purposes of this project, if you're not going to use pen, and again, you don't have to use pen, I just ask that you're using kind of like a 6B, or you're pressing down super hard, because I need to be able to see your lines in order to grade you accurately. I would hate for you to have done the work and not get the credit because I can't see it. So you really do want to press a little bit darker and harder in this section if you're using just a regular pencil to complete this part of the project. So therefore you can get all the credit that you need and is necessary on this particular part of the rubric. So by drawing this detail, it really does start to work on your ability to really kind of focus, analyze your artwork, interpret what you're seeing, really kind of work on your muscle memory, your hand-eye coordination, that continuous line drawing, at times blind contour line drawing, as you're trying to get in all these different shapes. All right, I think you guys kind of get the idea there. I'll kind of zoom up on that just so you guys can see all those. I'm really talking about every different shadow, all the different things that you see going on underneath. Anything that makes a color change, you're gonna follow the shape of it and create an irregular shape that highlights that irregularity. So that way, when you were doing like something like, if you were doing something like graphite, you would have a really good idea of where are those different values, or even if you were doing something with textural value, you would be able to break it down. And this is why it's a lot easier for me, because I already know how to do this process, and I can do it so well now. I necessarily have to draw every shape out on my paper. But because you guys are learning, you do need to really work on harnessing that ability to draw every contour, cross contour shape that you see within an object.